Hello!
Hello AOS fans!
It's the Agents of Sigmar.
And in this video we're going to give you 5 Rivals decks to use with old warbands. So we've had a couple of requests for this, for people who are used to play the game, have got a few warbands from yesteryear and want to play them and don't know what Rivals decks to match them up with. So we're just going to go through 5 quite quickly.
So these are in no particular order of preference or efficacy, but here's number 1.
The Starblood Stalkers with Rime-locked Relics. Rime-locked Relics is actually pretty good with a lot of things, but it synergises particularly well with Starblood Stalkers because it has some quite nice hold objective surges and a few other bits of push tech and stuff, and it's got some quite strong upgrades as well, and they synergise really nicely with all the little lizards running around and jumping on objectives and moving people about and stuff. So it's a really good matchup and you can score a lot of glory. So number 2
is the Mad Mob with Breakneck Slaughter. Pretty much picked this one because the Mad Mob are all about charging across the field and clubbing their opponent in, and the Breakneck Slaughter deck helps really nicely with that. It's pretty easy to utilise and you can score a lot of glory late game with it.
Yeah, again, they've got some nice synergies with the faction deck that you can kind of duplicate, scoring an awful lot of glory. Breakneck Slaughter is pretty good for any hard aggro warband. I mean, they're not as effective as the Mad Mob, but Iron Skulls are pretty good with them as well.
And of course, you've got the Prime Seed to enable you to get a little bit more glory every turn as well, just by clobbering people on the head. So number 3 on our list
is the Grimwatch. And they pair really nicely with either Malevolent Masks or the Rime-locked Relics. Rime-locked Relics is very similar to the Stalkers synergies. Again, it's objective holding with some tasty upgrades to put on your fighters. Masks is similar. They're not, I don't think it's quite as good with masks, but you do have the prospect of putting some masks on people like Gristlewell and then using the card to bring him back and him doing an attack late game, which can be pretty useful. So number 4
is the Crimson Court with the Force of Frost. Now, whilst the Force of Frost deck has been nerfed a little bit, those vampires are still pretty heavy duty on their own, and with all of that extra magic backing them up, they do have the ability to get either 3 level 2 casters on the field, or a level 3 and a level 2 and a level 1, so you're never short of a spellcaster, and when they inspire, they've got spells of their own tucked up their sleeves too, which helps.
Yeah, they haven't got one that can transfer wounds.
Yes.
Which is absolutely beastly. It seems to be really come into its own under Force of Frost. I hadn't ever really see it before, and now suddenly everybody's using it, and it's really mean.
Yeah, Gareth the Enforcer, you can make him level 3 wizard, and then he's got a spell action, which is 1 lightning, so 3 dice, nearly always guaranteed. You can take a wound off of one of your guys and put it onto somebody else, so pretty nasty.
Beastly, like I said.
Then number 5 on our list, which is a little bit of a cop-out, but
it is, because it's not an alliteration for a start.
Yeah.
It's Void Curse Thralls with more or less anything. If you've got really old warbands, I don't think you're going to win tournaments with them, but it does lift up some of the less good warbands to being at least playable on the table, most notably Chosen Axes. And the reasons for this is that the Void Curse Thralls affects your defense dice and gives everybody 1 shield. Warbands later in the series tend to have 2 shields or 2 dodge or something, and therefore they're weakened by it. But a lot of the warbands in the early seasons don't. They only have 1 shield, or in some cases 1 dodge. So there's no negative to being void cursed.
Also, you can put this void curse onto your opponent, so if they do have a later warband with their 2 shields, their 2 dodge, or whatever else they're rolling, you can stuff them up a little bit by making them void curse too.
And you can stuff them up further because, as we all know, quite a lot of the new warbands have all sorts of tricksy rules and extra actions and things that they can do. Well, they can't if they're void curse. You can only charge and move and make attacks, I believe.
Yeah, maybe a barge and a stun or something else in there, but you can't do all those fancy things. So if your warden gets void cursed, you can kiss goodbye to raising or moving all your troops around. Being
void cursed also prevents fighters from using range 3 attack actions, and again, early warbands, with the exception of a couple like the Vast Riders, didn't have range 3 attack actions. So that can stop spellcasters like Ephelim, which is quite good. And there is one little bonus as well, Pete, and what is that?
They can't be pushed back or driven back rather when they're attacked. So if you want to stand on objectives and not get pushed around, it helps you a little bit there too.
Yep, so that's quite useful for the Chosen Axes for their inspiration mechanic. As I said already, it doesn't make Chosen Axes brilliant, but it does stop them being kind of Eyes of the 9 level bad. It's still quite a good deck for many, many warbands. So what is your favourite old warband Rivals deck combination? Do let us know in the comments below. Absolutely, there are quite a few, and we obviously haven't played them all to know which ones are good, so maybe we've missed one. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell as always. And we'll see you soon in the Underworlds. Bye!